Welcome to Roman on CVI. Last time I created a little segment. It was on the CVI Characteristic of Visual Novelty and how the concept of salient features really ties into that characteristic. Today, I want to take it just a little bit further and talk about how salient features must also be considered with another concept called comparative thought. So, comparative thought is that ability to sort of hold more than one piece of information in your mind at the same time, to think about object one and object two, experience one and experience two concepts, two thoughts at the same time, and to think about the ways that they are similar and the ways they are unalike. Why is this important? Well, we use comparative thought our whole lives for many, many purposes. You might get on the wrong bus if you don't have comparative thought. You might not know where to find your baggage in a brand new airport that you've never been in before without comparative thought and that ability to think, how is this airport similar to the other ones I've been to as I try to find my way to baggage? We use it for reading. We think about how letters are grouped in certain ways. Some have round parts, some have straight parts, some have both. Some have hooks at the bottom, some have tall parts, some have short parts, some are short words, some are long words, and so forth. So salient features are one of those underpinnings that allows a child to think at a much higher level, how to approach new information based on previous learning, and then to dovetail with comparative thought to think about how similar this thing is to something else they know, so that not everything has to be exactly the same as the previous experience. For example, children might come to Pediatric View, to my clinic, and parents will say, well, he knows all of his animals. We read Brown Bear, that, children's book every night, and no matter what I say, can you find the picture of the cat? Or if I ask, where's the horse? They can always find the right page. So I think they've got it. And that is a great start, but it may mean more about the color on that page, the configuration, the order in which it appeared. What I would like to see is that children have that tool to say, well, how do I know it's a horse? How do I know it's a cat? And if I've learned this cat one, even though cat two might not look similar in many ways, if those salient features are there, then they can compare the known thing, the stored image, to the new one and have a pretty good theory, pretty good hypothesis about what this might be. Let me make it very simple. So here I have a spoon and a fork. And these have salient features. I might say, well, fork has a long handle and pointy parts at the end. They're called tines. We use them to help, stab the food so that we can get it on the fork to eat it. Long handle and pointy parts at the end. The spoon is similar because it also has a long part. But the spoon doesn't have pointy parts. The spoon has a little scooping bowl, a little part like a bowl that is at the end that helps us get other kinds of foods like liquids. Okay? So now, that's all well and good. And maybe the child, if you show them, they have these two things and you say, show me one like this. And they can discriminate it and find the match. Excellent. What happens when you introduce something like this? It's in many ways, novel. The hope is that the child has stored information about spoonness, had generalized experiences so that no matter what kind of spoon we show them, they can get it, that they see this and maybe for a moment it stumps them, and then they think, what do I know about that thing? Long handle and a part that scoops. Long handle and a part that scoops. holes in the bottom of this. I need to find out what those are there for, but I think that's a spoon. It's only through this process that we can help children broaden their thinking, that they can not just memorize a target, but begin to actually solve that novel problem based on this stored memory and the comparison to the new thing. I also want to recommend that one of the best ways to implement comparative thought in everyday teaching or at home with a child is to seize the opportunities. When you ask a child, let's say you ask them, can you show me which one is a spoon? Now that's a recognition task. Which one is a spoon? And they give you the incorrect one. This is the moment at which we can seize the opportunity to help build more comparative thought by saying, well, not by saying, that's wrong, try again, but by saying, oh, I see where you're coming from. Yes, it does have a long handle. That's true. But this one, the spoon, has a long handle and part that you scoop with. The fork has pointy parts that we use to stab the food. So what we want to do when a child gives an incorrect answer is try to get behind their thinking, view this the way they might view it, and think, why did you think that? Why did you think that? And by doing so, we can reinforce the parts that they were correct upon and then clarify it. So it's not just a yes or no, right or wrong thing. There's a lot of work to be done. Even in an incorrect answer, we have a great opportunity to see what part the child was really attending to. Last week I was in another country, and there was a child who identified a little clip that was the shape of a bird as a fish. And that would be, and it was another great opportunity to say, well, I can see why you think that. Yeah, that does have a tail like a fish and a round kind of body. But this animal also has a beak, a pointed beak that's its mouth. It's a bird. So that we take those opportunities to dovetail what the child does know with the clarification of what makes it actually correct. All right, there's much more work to be done on salient features and comparative language, but stay tuned, we'll get there. Thank you.